Hello again and welcome to your practice. Today I focus on yogi styles of breathing for a calming and energizing technique, and also a really great way to connect to sensation, to just feeling and body awareness in addition to breath awareness. So come join me when you're ready on the floor. If you have a blanket, you may want that as an optional prop here. And come to a comfortable resting position on your back. This could be with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Especially if you have any discomfort in the lower back, this is always a nice way to release tension in the area around the sacral iliac junction, so just above our pelvis and just below the lumbar spine. And also we'll soften the hip flexors here in the front. If everything feels good, you might extend your legs out in a classic resting pose here, arms by your side. And just give yourself a moment to arriving in your body, arriving in your mind. And with each exhalation, letting go of everything that you don't need to be fully present right here, right now. We'll start with a couple of tension and relaxation exercises. It's going to be a great way to let go of anything you might be holding on to, especially physical tension in the body. So, if you like, we'll start with the lower body. And remember to support your lower back by pushing your seat into the floor whenever we lift the legs up. We want the spine to be naturally extended. We'll use that action of the butt pushing down as you lift your legs up on an inhale. Stretch them out. You're going to pull your belly in to connect to that core support. And then tense all of the legs in your lower body. All of the muscles squeeze. You can squeeze your feet. And on an exhale, release the legs. And on your next exhale, just see if you can release even more. We're going to do the whole back body by lifting your seat up. Make a bend in the back, kind of like a bridge. And you push your back of the feet and the back of the shoulders into the floor. On an inhale, go ahead and lift your hips, lift your seat, arch the whole body. Take a big breath here, see if you can come up a little bit more. And exhale, releasing everything. And again, on your exhale, see if you can release a little more. And we'll concentrate that similar action just in the upper body. For this, you'll want your forearms, maybe even make fists with the hands to help lift your chest, lifting your heart area. On an inhale, lifting up, rounding the area behind the heart. And exhale, release. Letting your upper chest soften a little bit more. Now we're going to use the breath to concentrate and squeeze every part of the body towards the center. For this, I like to make fists. Sometimes shrug the shoulders up by your ears, squeezing your feet and hands. Squeeze all of the muscles of your face. Squeeze the whole torso. Squeeze everything you can towards your center. And then on an exhale, release everything. A little bit easier. See if your next exhale, you can release even more. And we'll finish our tension and relaxation with a sense of openness and lightness. We're going to try to open all parts of the body and breathe deeply. Again, to protect the lower back, you want to push your seat down. Anytime you're lifting the legs up, or lifting the whole body up in this case, pull into your center, navel pulling back towards the spine as you open your eyes. You can even open your mouth and hands, sticking your tongue out if you like. Look past your eyebrows. Exhale and release everything into the floor. Again, see if you can use your exhalations to let go of any residual tension in your body or anything else you might be holding on to still. Give yourself permission to just let it go. Even sighing out the mouth can be a nice way to release tension. But wherever possible, breathing in through the nose. So the nose and nasal breathing is an important part of our breathing practice. It's the body's natural filter for the breath. So we'll begin our breathing awareness here by just noticing the flow of breath in and out the nose. And resist any temptation to control your breathing here. And don't worry about your breath. Instead, see if you can become a little bit more neutral, a little bit more passive, just observing how your breath moves in and out. Anytime you become distracted, that's okay. That will happen again and again. And simply notice when you've become distracted, where your mind has wandered. Once you've noticed that, you may find it a little easier to let it go and redirect your attention again back to the tip of the nose. And see if you can notice again all of the aspects, any of the qualities of your natural breath. As it comes in, notice any of those sensations, any of the feelings of the breath as it flows out. Wonderful. I'm going to take that breath awareness one step further here and use some sensation, some action of the body also to deepen our awareness of our breathing capacity and all of the parts of the breath. So with your elbows resting on the floor, bring your hands to your belly. You could also do this with a block or with any other object if you prefer to leave your arms hands facing up and by your side. I like to use the hands here, touch the different parts of the body that is being breathed. So now direct your attention to the lowest part of your breathing room. This is your area just above the pelvic floor, right around the navel, above and below. This is called deep belly breathing. Again, always in through the nose, wherever possible, and out through the nose or the mouth. We're just going to concentrate our awareness and allow the movement of the breath to be concentrated here. We notice the rise of every inhale, and the fall of every exhale. Continue to notice if there's anything you can let go of with the breath. It's also known as diaphragmatic breathing. It's actually the action of the diaphragm right below our belly, right above the pelvic floor. This is the primary muscle. It's changing the shape of our breathing room, causing that expansion. When the muscle contracts and creates a vacuum there. And then when the muscle releases and the belly comes in, we release all of the air out. For the next 2 breaths, really take the time to follow your full and deep belly breathing without any worry and without any judgment. Just observing a little bit more carefully with the next breath. We're going to move into the second part of the full yogi breathing here. At the end of your exhale, letting the belly come all the way in. You're going to bring your fingertips up to your first rib or move your object so that it's right about in the middle of your torso. And you begin the same with a deep belly breath. And then let the breath continue to move into the middle of the torso. And you'll notice that the ribs also start to move and expand. And then exhale and watch the ribs come together, falling back into the body, and the breath leaving through the bottom of your breathing space as the belly returns flat into the body. We're going to continue here for about 4 more breaths, starting with a deep diaphragmatic breath. The belly rises and the expansion continues into the middle of your torso, starting to get into the chest. And the ribs separate here, so the intercostal muscles start to get a little stretch just from your breathing. And as you exhale, these muscles kind of weave back together, releasing as the chest contracts, the belly falls, the breath is fully released. Continue like this, a few more breaths, starting from the bottom and letting the breath move up through the middle of your breathing room. And for the last 2 breaths, see if you can also notice the back side of your body. This is the area right behind the kidneys, the lowest part of your back. See if you can direct your attention here as well, noticing any movement, expansion, any sensation at all. Your breathing room is almost like a giant balloon. Just like a balloon, it's not only filling up on one side, but there's really a 360-degree view, 3D expansion in all directions. Let's do one more like that. And at the end of your next exhale, again, take the time to get the breath all the way out. You might even squeeze your navel in to get the breath all the way out. And then if you like, you bring your fingertips now all the way up onto your collarbones, area right below the neck, with the upper arms and elbows still on the floor. We'll begin our full yogic breathing here, same as before, starting at the bottom, letting the breath move through the middle, through the ribs, and now up into the chest. You may notice, especially if you're very relaxed, you may notice that the collarbones will also lift at the very top of your breath, maybe a gentle pause, and then release the breath as you exhale from the top, through the middle, and then all the way out to the very bottom of your breathing room. Take your time, especially on the exhales. Again, we'll continue with about 4 more of these long, smooth, and very unrushed breaths here. So really take your time. And with every exhale, perhaps even extending the breath, slowly starting to stretch the exhale so that they're at least as long or even longer than every inhale. The option to use a little bit of muscle in the belly, pulling your navel in, the bottom of the breath. This may help you get that last bit of old air out. Now, if any time this has become difficult and you feel like you're straining or forcing your breath, this is not helpful. So just return to your natural breathing, letting your body be breathed as you simply watch the rise and fall of your beautiful breath. At the end of your next full exhalation, you can release this practice, deep yogic breathing, and simply return to your natural breath. Arms by your side with the hands facing up. And just take a moment again to feel your body here, resting on the floor. And also noticing anything you might not have noticed before. So any changes that may have occurred, perhaps even tension that you might have accumulated. Or perhaps they're very subtle sensations that you are now able to feel and observe. You might not have felt before. They were always there. It's one of the special things about the breath. It is always there for us. And yet it is also always changing. Sometimes we might be breathing much more shallow, more upper chest breathing. And this is often associated with moments of stress or fatigue. And we can develop a lot of unconscious habits of breathing. And these will respond and reflect our emotional state. And sometimes even something that's going on in the body physically. You take a moment and just take a quick breathing break. You may find you are better able to connect with yourself, connecting with your body. So when you're ready, we're going to start to move the physical body again, waking it up. Small movements, anything that feels nice, feels easy. Wiggling the fingers and toes. Maybe even opening and closing the hands or reaching the arms overhead and just stretch your whole body nice and long on the floor. Exhale out the mouth. Before bending your legs one at a time and giving yourself a big hug. So we're going to squeeze the legs into the body here. Ankle rolls, maybe even rolling your legs now, using your hands to guide your knees. Just take a couple of easy circles with the knees. It can be smaller or bigger, faster or slower. What matters here is really how you're able to stay connected with your breathing. So we're going to follow, for most of today's class, the breath. Follow a natural breathing rhythm. When you're ready, go ahead and take the circles in the other direction. And we're going to notice how movement and how the physical poses, the asanas we take here, may change your breath. Your breath may become faster, may become warmer. You might find, especially if you're straining in one of the poses, that you've lost that connection with the breath. And that's a good sign to pause and slow down and take it a little easier, see if you can reconnect to the breath. I'm going to invite you today for the rest of the class to take an easy, smooth breath in and a full, relaxed breath out with every pose. You might want to add a count to that. You also don't have to, but you can start to count every breath in, 1, 2, and 3. And every breath out, 2, 3, relax. And just continue like this, especially in our moments of transition. So, we're going to start with a little bit of a cross-legged action here, crossing your right knee over the top, over your left knee, and then you're going to grab wherever you can grab in the lower legs. This might be the shins. This might be closer to your ankles or even to the outside edges of your feet. Wherever you can grab, make sure your lower back is long and relaxed. And engage your core a little bit more if you want a little bit more sensation. Squeeze your legs a little bit closer into the body. You should feel a nice sensation in the outer hip here. Got a little bit more room or range, you might move a little deeper. Nothing too strenuous at first. Go ahead and release that. Uncross the legs. And just pause and see if you can feel any difference. When you're ready, cross the other way with the left knee on top. And grabbing anywhere that it's easy to grab in the lower legs. Again, this could be closer to the feet, or you could be much closer to your knees. And notice again if one side is different. That's often the case, and this is affected by how we hold the body throughout the day, how we're moving or not moving, and especially by how we sit. So if you want more sensation, make sure to keep the back long, but you can start to squeeze the legs a little closer to the body. The entire time, stay connected with, stay aware of the movement of your breath. Go ahead and release. Great. We're going to roll and come up to a seated position. At first, we're just going to roll on the spine to massage the back. Be careful here not to roll on your neck. You can roll up and down a little bit. Nice. And you could use this rolling action to just come up to a seat. If that seems too difficult, you can also return to your back and just roll to your side in the fetal position and then come up into hands and knees. Great. I'm going to start with cat and cow pose here and try to really connect this movement with the rhythm of your breath. So start with your shoulders over the wrists. Big hands, maybe the middle finger in the middle of your hand, so pointing at 12 o'clock, and your knees directly under your hips. As you inhale, soften the belly, start to arch your back and look up. And then as you exhale, drop the chin towards the chest as you begin to round the back and pull your belly up into the back body. As you inhale, your sitting bones, your tailbone reach back, maybe a little bit out. As you look up, and as you exhale, soften your gaze, looking back either between your legs or up to where your navel is. We'll continue a few more like this, following expansion of your inhale, enjoying the gentle contraction and release of every exhale. After your next exhale, return to a neutral position, shoulders under your or over your wrists. Now we're going to turn the hands out to either the side. Again, we still want big hands, so spread your fingers. You can see the color of the mat here. We're going to continue with this cat-cow a couple more times. Now with your hands facing outward to the sides of your mat. You might already notice that's a big change, a very different sensation. If you're not feeling very much change there, you might want to continue in the full rotation. Now with your fingers pointing towards your body. Continue again, a couple of easy cat-cows. So here now the wrist may be slightly forward, away from your body, or you may want to walk it a little bit closer to the body. That again, it's directly under the shoulders. But the sensation through the underside of the arms should never feel like pain. So we want to avoid any sharp sensations, anything that feels like electrical shock or fieriness. We want to stay in a conservative range here of motion, also that allows you to stay connected with your breath. Nice. And slowly unwind your hands, maybe coming back to the intermediate position first, and then the forward position. Now we're going to take the reverse here by folding the tops of the hands down to the ground. You may need to bring your hands closer to the body for this. Try to keep your hips right above the knees. And again, we're going to take just a couple of cat and cows this way. Big hands. It's going to be quite a lot of pressure on the knees, so stay active in your belly here, using your legs as well. You don't want to feel, again, sharpness or too much compression. Keep the wrists open by keeping the fingers extended. And just a couple easy movements. Great. Come back and sit either on your heels. You can bring the feet together, or sitting back on a support, on your blanket maybe, or bolster. And just take a couple of easy wrist circles here. Circular motion, spiraling action. This is some of the body's favorite motion, and it's really simple stuff. And honestly, we usually don't do it enough, especially in our hands, which are often grabbing things, gripping, and a lot of texting and typing these days. They often enjoy a lot of this easy, breezy kind of free flow of movement. You might want to take it into a butterfly action now, or making your circles move in parallel action. Just also aids in a little bit of concentration. And then notice also if your concentration has moved away from your breath, that's okay. That will happen. And then just bring it back. Okay, we're gonna come up to standing now. So you can do that maybe without your hands. It's actually a very good practice. You can do this just one leg at a time, or maybe both legs at a time, even coming up with a hop. Great, I'm gonna stand tall in mountain pose here. We'll do a little bit for our shoulders and neck, really common area to carry tension in the body before we get moving in our flow. I'm gonna start with just shrugging the shoulders. With your feet under your hips, spread your toes. We have a nice strong base here so we can concentrate our awareness and our effort in the upper body. But keep the legs relaxed so your knees have an easy bend. And your breath, again, is full, smooth, and every exhale, easy and complete. On an inhale, we're going to squeeze the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as much as you can, and exhale, drop them, and release. Let's try that again. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders all the way up by your ears. Take the full inhale for this action. And exhale, drop. Maybe even breathing out the mouth. We'll do that one more time. But this time we're going to drop the shoulders slowly. So inhale, maybe even slowing that action down and exploring if you can bring them a little more back, a little more up. And as you exhale, bring the shoulders back and slowly lower them back into their upper back resting position. And then return to neutral. We'll do that one more time in the way that felt best for you. So inhale, take a full inhale here. Squeezing the sides of the neck even a little bit with the shoulders. And exhale, releasing with a full breath. Great. We're gonna let the head lead some of the motion for the neck with some easy neck circles. These circles, again, can really be at about any size that feels good, but I recommend starting smaller here, especially if you tend to have neck issues, stiffness, tightness, or even pain. Some neck circles here about the size of a coin would be a good starting position. And if you notice a lot of pulling sensation or cracking, maybe even twinging, then that's a good indication you want to stay with that size and speed of circle. We'll pause and go in the other direction. And once things are feeling very fluid, very circular, and very easy, you can make the circles a little bigger, perhaps moving them a little bit faster here, but I tend to err on the side of slowing things down here. So many things are often moving fast enough. It's a little easier to stay connected. And we just pause and slow it down. Great. We're going to do a little bit of isometric action now for the sides of the neck. So we're going to use the right hand first and place it right above your right ear. Notice how you feel on both sides of your neck before you engage. You want to feel the length on the left side matches the length on the right side. Your chin parallel to the chest, the back of the neck just as long as the front. And now on an inhale, we're going to start to push the right hand against the right side of the head, but your head pushes against the hand just as much. So now your head has not moved anymore, but you should feel a strong engagement just on that one side of the neck now that we're working a little bit more. And in that engagement, see if you can bring your full attention again back to your breath. One more breath here. And then release. Ooh, I notice a big change there when I release that. Maybe the case for you, and you may feel like you want some head wobbles or head circles, neck circles again, before the second side. And then when you're ready, you bend the elbow and rest the flat of your hand. So it's the palm of the hand right above the ear, now on the left side, if you're with me. And first, just make sure you can feel all sides of your neck. So if you notice a tilt on one side, stand up tall with the center of your head reaching up, your chin parallel to the floor. And then begin on an inhale to engage and push your hand against the head. The head pushes equally against your hand. There's no movement here, but you should feel quite a bit of energy. Quite a bit of work going on here in this isometric engagement. It just means the same on both sides, the same measure of force coming into the head from the hand as we have of the head against the hand. Like that. Take one more deep breath here. And exhale, release. Feel that. Nice. Now we're just going to drop the head, dropping the chin towards the chest. Make sure your base is still very stable here. Legs are active, knees are bent, easy. And as your feet reach down, let the back of your head reach up as your chin drops down a little bit more. So let the head be very heavy. If you want to, you could interlace your fingers and put them now just above the back of your head, right on the back of the head, for a little bit more weight, a little bit more of a stretch in the back of the neck. This is completely optional. But if that extra sensation feels nice, and you can still maintain a full connection with your breathing, perhaps even returning to the count of an even length of breath in, matching that same length of breath out. That's great. One more breath, wherever you are. And then release. Pause a moment again in neutral. Now for this last neck stretch, we're going to use the hands and interlace them again, but you're going to place them right behind the back of your neck. Maybe with the thumbs pointing down on your back, or sometimes it's nice to wrap the thumbs around the sides of the neck. Either way, you want your shoulders to be relaxed here. So soft bend in the elbows will help, and we start in neutral. Chin still parallel to the earth. Actually, I think I need my thumbs on the back for this one today. And inhale, the head is tall, and as you exhale, we're going to let the head just gently fall towards the back. And fingers here behind the neck will prevent us from compressing the back of the neck too much. But also your legs, again, remaining active. Center of your heel reaching down. Spreading your toes as you lift up with your upper body, let your head hang down with gravity. Moment. Right. Okay, and come back up into standing position. Great. It's time for that dog walk. So that's actually a good point. So we can start getting ready to walk our dog by coming to the top of the mat in mountain pose. Not there already. And then on an inhale, reach up and see if you can connect this movement again to your breath, full breath. And as you exhale, bending from the hips, forward bend. So take your time, follow your breath. With an inhale, we'll come up halfway, using your core to lengthen the back, keeping the shoulders in the back. And then exhale, hands by your feet, and take the whole breath here to step the right leg back into plank. And pausing here. And on your next exhale, also taking a full exhale to come to the full plank. Or plank on your knees, if that feels better. Lowering your knees down might be a nice way to notice how your shoulders connect to that upper back support as you exhale. Take a full exhale, lowering all the way down. Nice. Point your toes away from you for the cobra, engaging the feet down as you pull your belly up and in, coming forward and up. A full breath. And exhale, release the chin to the chest, pumping yourself up. And about the speed of your breath. So it might be slower or faster than my pace. That's okay. We're going to pause and hang out here for the first couple rounds of 3 easy, unrushed breaths here in downward dog. This is your first downward dog. You might want to walk that dog. As I said before, you can do this by bending one knee and stretching the other. And at the end of your third breath, bending your knees even more and looking forward. Inhaling, we're going to step that right foot all the way forward between the hands. Pausing here, lengthening the back, using the activation of your legs. And on an exhale, stepping forward. Take your time here. Slowing down might actually be the biggest challenge. Inhale, we'll come up again. Belly in as your tailbone reaches back. Your crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, folding forward. Forward bend. And then on an inhale, we're going to come up. You could just unroll the back. Really take your time and at least one breath. And you're back in mountain pose. We'll do that again, letting the left leg lead this time. Oh, I notice I tend to rush things and rush my breath, especially when I'm feeling either challenged or feeling nervous. See if you've noticed any of these tendencies, and just notice that. Don't worry. Inhale, coming up halfway. Your shoulders, though, staying in the back, hands on the floor or your shins. Exhale and let the leg lead, but following still your breath. Pause again here in that transition. And exhaling, coming back to plank pose with both legs. Shoulders over the wrists. Belly engaged, tailbone reaching back through your feet and lowering down as slowly as a breath as you chaturanga. Always have that option to lower to the knees first. Point the toes, arms by your sides, elbows pulling in towards the center line of the body as you come forward and up for cobra. And exhale, back to either hands and knees or directly downward dog. 3 breaths here. One more time in downward dog. This could be dynamic again, a little bit of movement, maybe already dancing your dog. Or just pause and enjoy the stillness. When you're ready, on an inhale, you're gonna let that left leg lead. Taking all the time you need for a full breath. Pausing here, squeezing both legs a little bit more towards your center line to lengthen that back. And then exhale, get that back leg forward. See if you can do that without rushing. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, softening fully. Full breath. You could unroll again, or you can drop your hips a little bit more, the height of your knees. And on an inhale, lift the whole back on the strength of your legs. Reach up. Exhale, settling down into the flow of your breath. We're going to continue a couple more times, sun salutations, like so. Moving very mindfully. And again, the goal here is to stay connected to your breathing. And simply notice what you're feeling. As you inhale, you generally lengthen. As we exhale, we soften, release. You can pause at any time you need to. You can also pause in between the breaths. But again, if you ever feel like you're forcing something, or your breath starts to feel strained, then it's a good time to check in and maybe just take a little breather, take a break. We'll inhale the leading leg forward. And exhale, the other leg follows. I tend to rush that action. Intentionally slowing it down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rising up with one breath. Exhale, settling down. At least one breath. In and out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling, enjoying the length of you. Exhaling, allowing the weight of you to settle and release. Inhale. And exhale. Easy in. And a complete breath out. Great. Next time you come back to the top of your mat, standing tall in your mountain pose, just take a moment. Notice your stance. Notice the strength in your legs, the lift in your upper body. Keep that easy bend in your knees. With your hands facing forward, notice again your full breath. I'm going to come into eagle arms here in standing. So on an inhale, go ahead and reach your arms up. We're going to cross the arms over each other with your right arm on top, and go ahead and just grab your shoulders with your hands. This is one variation of eagle arms. Still get a nice stretch here in the back of the shoulders. And if you feel you have the range to go a little more, you can start to bring your forearms closer together. You might be able to bring them all the way together so that your hands, the palms of the hands, can touch. Show you from the side. If this has caused you to squeeze your shoulders so much that you're not able to breathe deeply, then that's probably too much. Back off a little, make it a little easier. The goal here, again, is to let the shoulders relax in the back support. And we use the action now of our forearms. So we lift our elbows a little bit, keeping the hands a little farther from the face to start to stretch those tissues. And again, the whole time, how far we go, how much we're looking for sensation is guided by the breath. Take another breath here, especially noticing where you're feeling a lot of sensation. And see if you can use your exhale to soften any of that sensation or let go of anything you don't need. And slowly come out of the pose, dropping the elbows and releasing the arms by the side, standing tall, and just feeling and breathing. When you're ready, we'll go the other way. So you lift your arms up again. Now cross the arms, crossing the elbows in front of the body. So now your other elbow is on top. I mean the left elbow now. And you could just take this variation where your hands are holding onto your shoulders. Or start to bring the upper arms, your lower arms, forearms together. And you might even be able to cross at the wrist here so that the palms are touching. And we want to keep the palms close together as possible, but the shoulders as relaxed as you can. Strong legs, a long spine. And you can start to lift the elbows up a little bit higher. or maybe a little bit lower. That feels better. Sometimes that gets at a different spot that might be sticky. You can also take this one a little more dynamically. Try to keep the hands at about the height of your head or even a little higher, but away a hand's length from your face. And your breath still moving, free, easy, and deep. Take one more breath here, and then release. We're going to come down onto our bellies again. You can also try this one without your hands, crossing your legs, and then slowly lowering down onto your seat. And then go ahead and come all the way down into prone position, resting on your belly with your forehead or with your chin on the floor, whatever feels better in your neck. So arms by your side, hands underneath the shoulders, right under your shoulders, and we draw them back a little bit so that the elbow is right above the wrist, setting up for cobra pose. We've been here before, we're going to stay for a few more breaths. So engage your base. The start of cobra pose, the tops of the feet reach down into the ground so much that your knees lift up. And on an inhale, pulling the belly in and lifting your heart forward and up. Shoulders resting softly in the back. You can take this a little more dynamically if you like. You can come in and out with your breath. You can also just stay here and explore the dynamism of your breathing, noticing how your inhales always somehow lift and lighten the body, and how your exhales allow you to soften, to release. So it's a gentle movement here, a gentle lengthening on the inhales, and an easy contraction with every exhale. Stay for 2 more breaths, noticing the muscles of your face and also relaxing them. If you've noticed you're not smiling, you can try that. And make sure the whole time you again are following, listening to your breath. And release. Great. You can bring your arms by your side for a moment, or even turn your head to one side. Very powerful back bend pose in the cobra. Really great for opening the breathing room. And as a complement for the upper back stretch there, we're going to take a lower back bend in the form of locust pose. Now you might want to bring your arms under your body for this. I like to have my chin on the ground for locust. Your hands can be facing up towards the body or down to the floor. Or you could keep your arms by your side. In this case, you keep the palm of the hand down on the ground, shoulders on the ground, and also the front of your hips are going to stay connected with the floor. We'll start with just one leg. Inhale, bringing that leg up for a full breath. And exhale, slowly lower it down. Other side might be different, so pay attention to that. Inhale, give it a full breath in. And exhale, release. Might want to do that again. Same thing on each side. See if you can spread your toes a little bit more and connect again to that core support. So the belly pulling in, the low back supported. You could even stay with these one-legged half locust pose. Or you might want to join for the full version on your next cycle of breath. If you do so, inhale. Lifting your legs, doesn't have to be very much. You want to make sure, again, the back of the neck feels good and that you're breathing deep. I'm going to hold this one for just 2 more breaths. Maybe lifting the backs of your legs a little higher, the hips staying grounded. And exhale slowly, coming down, release. Letting your head rest to the other side. That's what releasing the head and neck. Every exhale, let the whole body sink into the floor. Lovely. The last couple of poses here are really going to help us balance out the whole flow of energy and circulation in the body. So we're going to take Paschimottanasana. Come up to a seated pose with long legs. Now, if this is difficult to sit up tall with your back, which is the most important part, you want to bend your knees a little bit more, or even sit up on a blanket. You can sit on a couple blankets or a block. Having that extra height there may make it just that much easier for you to extend in your spine. You can use the back of your hand to make sure your lower back is moving up and in the body. Again, option to bend the legs as much as you need to. We want to use the legs here. There are levers in this pose, so we're going to have very active legs before we come into our forward bend. So look at your legs first and notice the sides of each foot are parallel to each other. That's when we have our legs and our feet are flexed. The feet are very active there, spreading the toes. And also the feet are parallel to each other. So we'll see if we can maintain that and maintain the length in our spine. And then as you exhale, just start to walk your fingertips forward, coming into any variation of a seated forward bend. Paschimottanasana. Now the legs, again, very active here. So especially your upper legs should feel strong, feel them engaged. Even imagine the kneecaps moving towards your hips. You can even use your hands here to extend the legs a little bit, manually extend them, but make sure you keep that energetic engagement. The activity in your legs will help you keep that length in the back as you soften with every exhale, going a little bit more forward. So it doesn't matter how far forward you go. Maybe you can grab your shins, maybe you're closer to the knees or ankles. If you like, you could also grab your big toes. Some of you are very flexible, might be able to put something behind your feet, like a block. Reach that right now. And reach a little further, adding a little bit more distance there. Again, not to force yourself into the sandwich position, but really only if that extra sensation, that extra stretch allows you to connect a little bit more fully to your breath. So again, noticing on your inhales, the length of the whole body. You've got this really long line down both legs and through the spine. And noticing with your exhales, if there's anything you're still holding on to, you can just let go. One more breath here. And then exhale, release. At the end of your exhale, we're going to engage the core a little bit more. So the belly pulls in to support that lifting up. You can walk your hands closer to the body. Nice. And it can be nice really to wiggle the legs here, shaking it out after a really deep stretch. Timer turned off, so just want to check. Great. So that's unfortunately where we're at for time. That's okay. We're going to take, if you have just a couple more minutes, the most important pose really of any practice is that final relaxation. So come down onto your back, if that's comfortable for you. You can also add any support there, like a bolster under the legs. You can also bring your feet as wide as the mat and just let the knees rest on one another. Another version of a supported Shavasana. If resting on your back isn't comfortable, you could rest on your side, in which case you might need a couple cushions between your knees or under your head. We're going to finish much the same way we started, returning our full attention to our breath. You may need to make any small adjustments to get comfortable or bigger changes to your pose, but eventually you want to settle into a final resting pose where you can let go of the need to change things, to fidget. We can accept, however you're feeling, what it is. With every exhale, see if you can notice all of the points of your body that are supported by the earth, where you have contact with the ground. And use your exhalations to release tension from your physical body into the earth. Again, on your inhale, see if you notice the length of your body from your toes all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, see if you can feel the weight of your body, the weight of your bones and your muscles sinking down into the earth. And on the inhale, we'll notice all of those contact points, back of the head, back of the shoulders, back of your pelvis, maybe even the calves and the feet. And now, as you exhale, rather than noticing them as points, see if you can notice a surface of connection, a plane of your body where it meets the plane of the earth, and allowing your exhales to let you soften, almost as if you are melting, merging into the floor. Once you've arrived in a position where you are quite settled, and closing your eyes and directing your full attention again inwards, remembering there may be changes. You might continually notice sensations. And with every exhalation, you're able to let go of that busyness, go of that activity, and return your full attention back to the next breath. For the next few moments, we're just going to rest our attention here in the rise of every inhale, enjoying the fall of every exhale a little bit more sweetly. When you feel ready, slowly slowly start to deepen your breathing. And take your time. There's no rush. Just let the next inhale be a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. And allow every exhale to be full, complete. And with this increased vibration, this increased energy of deep breathing, you can start to wake up your physical body with any movements that just feel nice, just feels right. If you like to take a big stretch again, bring the arms overhead, resting on the floor. And from your center, with your seat reaching down, go ahead and reach the whole body long as before. And exhale, and release. Finishing by bending your legs one at a time, hugging your legs into the body. Give yourself a big squeeze. Give yourself thanks for showing up, for being here. You can turn and rest on your right side. Do this pose for a moment before helping yourself up into a stable and comfortable seat. Really nice to end any practice with gratitude. We'll just take a moment here in an easy seated pose to connect again with whatever it is you're feeling. Before directing the attention again to your easy breathing. And thank yourself. Thank each and every one of you for being here. I wish you a great rest of your day. Look forward to practicing with you again soon. Namaste.